Okay, so today I want to go over the best ways to save time while lifting. Let's get into it. Okay, so the reason I'm making this is because I feel like for so many people, their reason to not lift, or maybe not lift as many days as they'd like, is just due to a lack of time. And honestly, occasionally there's some people where I've heard what they're saying and I agree with them. They really just don't have a lot of time, but I'd say for like 95% of the people, if you were to prioritize better or just manage your time better, you have the time to lift. So that's why I want to make this so that you can find ways during your lift to save time. So the first one I want to go over is supersets. Now, if you don't know what a superset is, it is where you're going to hit a set of whatever the set is of one exercise. And when the second you're done, give yourself maybe like a couple seconds if you want. Then you're going to immediately jump into another exercise. So a really good superset for this would be specifically just like to work your chest is a lot of people will hop on a bench press, do their bench press set, and the second they're done, they'll rack the weight, they're going to get up and drop down to the floor and just start doing push-ups till burnout basically. Because what that does, what supersets do is one, like in that case scenario where you're doing 2 chest exercises, you're increasing intensity there. Now, let's say you did like a bench press and for whatever reason in that gym, there happened to be a cable right next to it and you did like some tricep push downs, right? Now, this allows you to hit 2 exercises in way less a span of time. Now, it is definitely more taxing on your body because, well, you're just literally not having rest in between your sets. But as we said, this is purely about saving time. And supersets are one of the best ways to save time. That's why if you notice, if you're in a gym that has like personal trainers going around, personal trainers do a bunch of supersets with their clients. Why is this? That is typically because they only have maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour with their client. Where like personally, when I lift, I always take somewhere around like the hour to hour 15 range. And recently, actually over the past couple of weeks, I've been starting to be in the gym longer. I've just been taking a slightly longer rest. And now it's been like an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes. So supersets are a great way to save time in the gym. The next one is drop sets. Now, drop sets are, I feel like the best and easiest way for me to describe this is imagine sitting in any machine that has a pin, right? Let's see leg extensions, right? So let's say you're doing leg extensions with 200 pounds, what I typically do, right? You do your leg extensions, you do your 10 reps. The second you're done, or if you want, give yourself a couple seconds, but you're gonna take the pin out, drop it 1, 2, or like you decide, but you're gonna drop it a little bit. So like for me, if I was at 200, let's say the one above that's 190, then 180, I'd probably drop it to 190, pump out like 4 reps. And I'm going to do a double drop set. The second I get those 4 reps out at 190, bam, I'm gonna drop it again to 180, and bam, I'm gonna hit another 4 reps. So that's just it's basically like another intensity building method. So that's why those are really good. And something else that's really similar to drop sets are what's called rest pause sets. So a rest pause set, personally, I love doing these on like a Smith machine for like if I'm doing like an incline bench or like a shoulder press on a Smith machine. The Smith machine is perfect for rest pause sets. So basically, you're going to hit your set, you're going to push till failure basically, and then you're going to put the weight up, and this is why I love doing the Smith machine. You're going to rack it, you're going to count to like 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, right? And then the second you get there, you're going to pop the weight back up and rep out a few more reps. You'll typically be able to get like 3 more reps. I feel like that's what I can. And this is just another like intensity building technique, because literally one of the other tips I have is decreasing your volume, but increasing your intensity to try and get the same outcome. Obviously, it'd be great if you could do just a bunch of really high intensity work with a good amount of volume. That would be ideal. But if you're watching this, you don't have a crazy amount of time to lift. So we want to try and find ways to increase your intensity, then that will also decrease your time. So for me personally, there was a time period when I was student teaching where I had 45 minutes, maybe 50 minutes a day to work out. Like that was it, because I wanted to work out in the morning before I went into school. So for me, I originally was doing like 3 or 4 sets of every exercise, typically 4 at that time at least. And I was like, I only have 45 minutes. There's no way I'm going to be able to get everything I want in. So what I started doing is every single set I did was a drop set or rest pause set. Every single set. But I only did 2 sets of every exercise. Obviously I did like some warm-up sets, but it saved me so much time, and it allowed me to still keep the same like structure to my workout where I was still doing the exercises I wanted in the order I wanted. But because I increased the volume so much, it made it so much easier for me to fit it in that short time period I have. Okay, so the next one is, actually, honestly, the next two kind of go together. So first, it's have a timer or a set amount of time that you're gonna rest for. Like personally right now, I have the time, so I just kind of rest for however long feels good for me. Whenever I feel fully recovered and ready to hit my next set, I hit my next set. If you're in a time crunch, like personally, I remember, as I said, I only had 45 minutes when I was working out, student teaching, 2 minutes, that is it. I would stare at my phone pretty much, be 2 minutes, and the second that went, it didn't matter how I felt, I had to do it because I did not have enough time in that morning to work out. So 2 minutes rest, and then continue on from there. And previously, I was doing like 3 minutes rest for everything. So for me, this was a little bit of a change. But just having like a timer or some way to know, like, you're just gonna do this much rest and that is it. That's like, it's just will save you so much time. And what this coincides with is stop scrolling on your phone. Oh my God, that is the biggest way to waste time in the gym. As I said, right now, like I have the time. So a lot of times in between sets, I'll be on my phone. There was at one time a couple days ago where like I literally think I sat there for like 5 minutes. Like I like zoned out and like forgot I was in the gym. I was just sitting on a machine, forgot I was on even there, and I was just scrolling on my phone on like Instagram. And then I realized I was like, what am I doing? Go hit your set. And like for me, as I said, right now I'm not in a time crunch. When you're in a time crunch, like you just cannot be wasting that time. That's an extra 2 minutes. That's like an entire set or rest between your sets that you just lost because you were just scrolling on your phone. So just try and honestly, just have the timer up on your phone. Have the stopwatch on your phone, like whatever it is, just have that be the only thing on your phone. Honestly, also, a great idea would be just be turning your phone on Do Not Disturb. Put it on D&D, and then you don't have to worry about getting notifications that are gonna make you want to on your phone. Okay, so the next one is honestly probably not the most useful tip in the world because it just depends on what your life's like, but if you can, if it is possible, try and work out at times that are gonna be less busy. So going back to that example of me student teaching, I could have worked out at like 5:30 every day, but I knew, yes, I would have had like an hour and a half to lift probably, but it was gonna take me forever. That is the busiest time in the world to go to the gym. And I was like, I know I'm not gonna have that great of a workout if I go at that time. So for me, I started waking up at 5 a.m. every day. I would get to the gym by 5:45, 5:50, depending on how fast I ate my breakfast. I'd be back up to my apartment by about 6:30, 6:40-ish, and then I was leaving a little bit later. So like I went at 5:45, 6 in the morning. Why did I do that? I knew the gym was gonna be pretty much empty. Like I didn't have to worry about people being in my way, people using something that I wanted, or like just anything like that. Especially because I was working out at my apartment gym. So like I just didn't have to worry about anything. So for me, that made it a lot easier. Now I know a lot of you, you have jobs and stuff, so it's not as easy to move around your schedule. But if you can, personally, I would say morning lifts. They just make it so much easier. That's why even in general, I'm a morning lifter. There's typically less people in the gym. Okay, and the last one is, and this kind of coincides in a sense with the last tip, is if you're in the gym and let's say you need a machine or something that someone's using, don't be afraid to ask to work in. I feel like there's so many people that like just don't want to ask to work in. And if you can, it'll just save you so much time if you work in. Like there's just no reason not to. Worst thing they say is no, and you just have to be flexible and go do something else. But if you're just not the type, for whatever reason, you just refuse to ask people to work in, try and just be flexible then with your workouts. Like be creative and think about a different way that you could hit that same muscle so that you don't have to just stand there. Because if you only have 45 minutes, right, and you want to do leg extension and someone just hopped on, they're gonna take like 5 to 10 minutes, that's like a crazy big portion of your workout at that point. Like you're just gonna be standing there doing nothing. If you're on a time crunch, you need to then be flexible. Go think of a different exercise you can do or a different way you can hit the same muscle and go just do that instead. Because if you're on a time crunch, you just can't be wasting time like that. Okay, so now here it is time for my Sunday Night Football predictions. So I'm posting this video, I think it'll be week 4. So I looked at the game, it's gonna be Ravens Bills. Now I will say, I'm recording this, week 2 isn't even over yet. It's the Monday of week 2 for like Monday Night Football. So this is extremely far in advance. There is not a line for the game. The Ravens have looked pretty bad so far this year. Like, I guess they were close. It was a really close game with the Chiefs. They could have won, but they just lost to the Raiders yesterday, which was crazy to me. So honestly, the game's in Baltimore. If I had to guess, the line's probably going to be Bills minus 2.5, something around there. Personally, if I was going to bet on this game, this is a really tough one because the Bills probably look like the better team, but the Ravens also are. They just have so much talent that it could turn on at any moment. And I feel like week 3 is going to be that for the Ravens, where I think they're going to come out and be big, have just a great game. So my thing is, minus 2.5 is just such a tough line. But personally, if I had to bet on that game, I'd probably go to an alt spread and do Ravens plus 3.5. I really like that line because then you're basically betting on the fact that it's going to be a somewhat close game, which with those two great teams, that's probably what you're going to expect. And then even if it is a last-second field goal that the Bills hit to win, you're still good because you got plus 3.5. So that would be my thing for the game. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you can implement some of these tips and save some time in the gym. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and send this to anyone who you know like lives on like a short amount of time and just needs to save time because of their life circumstances or whatever. All right, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you on next Sunday at 5 p.m. Catch you there.